Oh, thank you. It's good to see you all
Good to
today.
see you.
Hi. Thank you for coming back.
So we want to thank you for standing with your community against corruption.
Thank you.
Business owner. Some of us have signed it there.
Okay,
We
thank
really
you very
appreciate
much.
your support. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Oh, no, let's see it. Wonderful. Well, you...
Hello. Welcome.
Welcome.
Good luck. And good luck.
you.
And tell the government to collect sales tax off of all the internet businesses, and we'll all be so much better off.
Exactly. They have a lobbyist. You guys don't have one, right? We can't afford that $10,000.
That's right. Small businesses are being discriminated against.
That's right.
They are.
Yes.
They are.
We want to thank you for standing with your community against corruption. We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a great day.
Represent who?
Represent us!
Not the lobbyists.
Represent us!
Not the special interests.
Represent us!
Not big money.
Represent us!
Represent who?
Represent us!
Not the lobbyists.
Represent us!
Not the special interests.
Represent us!
Not the big corporations.
Represent us.
Not big money.
Represent us.
Represent us!
Represent who?
Represent us!
Not the lobbyists.
Represent us!
Not special interests.
Represent us!
Not the big corporations.
Represent us.
Not special interests.
Represent us!
Not big money.
Represent us.
Represent who?
Represent us!
Not the lobbyists.
Represent us!
Not the special interests.
Represent us!
Not the big money.
Represent us!
Not the corporations.
Represent us!
Represent who?
Represent us!
I want to really hear this all the way across Roanoke. Will you help pass the American Anti-Corruption Act?
Yes!
Thank you.
This group is rising from the grassroots all around the country so that we can be about knocking corruption indeed out. So, what do? Well, first we got to recognize we got a problem, right? How can you solve a problem if you don't recognize what it is? Corruption, as difficult as it is to name, is a uniting issue for all the issues. In the life of the church, we unite around faith. And at this point in the walk in our society, we need to unite around corruption. Amen.
We want Roanoke to be a part of that growing movement. We already have 60 local businesses who have endorsed us and 600 people in the Valley who have signed on in support. So we're officially announcing today that we are going to work with our Roanoke City Council and with Roanoke County Board of Supervisors. We're going to ask them to work with us to pass resolutions calling on the state of Virginia to pass a state of Virginia Anti-Corruption Act.
I lecture on this, and we call it access. And because the corporations are able to do this, and we're not talking about small businesses, we're talking about big businesses, they're able to go out there and essentially buy access. That means they sit down and have lunch. You and I can't have lunch with congressmen. Why? Because they don't have the time for that. Because where are they spending all their time? Who are they having lunch with? Tell me. There it is. But say one last thing. There was a political table that was set for you and I to be there. What's happened is you and I have been pushed away from that table.
We need this type of reform to protect us from ourselves. And we decided that the gift limit, instead of being $250, would be $100. Well, the reality is as politicians, we don't care what gifts you give us. What we care about is the $10,000 check you're going to give to our campaigns, right? So Johnny Williams, who was the one that gave all this money to our former governor, well, if he wrote a $175,000 check to a campaign, that's still perfectly legal today. That's why I couldn't support this ethics reform that wasn't being sincere with you, the people. People are shocked. And I said, yeah, it's a pretty corrupt system. I need to believe for myself that positive politics, that politics that is not reliant on big, powerful interests, can have a positive voice in changing the future.
To take down the Goliath of corruption in this system of government. One more time. Represent who?
Represent us!
Not the lobbyists?
Represent us!
Not the corporations?
Represent us!
Not the big money?
Represent us!
And not the special interests.
Represent us!